there's been a lot of conversation about beacons, but what's really interesting for the CPG and grocery industry is that beacons is starting to allow us to do the things we would normally do in a direct e-commerce type transaction. So we're connecting with consumers through social, we're connecting with consumers through mobile, but now we can actually engage with them in store using beacons. And what's great about that is that we can start to see what consumers are responding to. If you don't know about beacons, they're essentially a tiny little piece of plastic that pings off your phone and allows you to engage with brands. So if your phone has Bluetooth turned on and you have an app that supports beacons, then when you enter in a store that's beacons enabled, you can start to engage with brands and with the store itself using your phone. And what's great about that is that now we have a lot of the digital type experiences that historically have been reserved for companies like Amazon. So what I'm very excited about with beacons is the fact that we can now do a lot more in physical retail than we've been limited to only online type of experiences. So if you think about it, one of the advantages that Amazon has is before the page loads, it knows who you are, it knows what you've purchased, it knows what you looked at but didn't purchase, and it knows what you purchase frequently. So what it does is it builds the page based on your profiles and your personal interests. This is one of the challenges when you go into a large retail environment, is you can't replicate that experience until you have beacons enabled. With beacons, we actually know some of the same things. We know if you're part of the loyalty program, so we know who you are, we know what you've purchased, we know what you've looked at in the past, and so we can start to use the same type of data to influence the purchase decisions. So when you walk through the door, the beacon recognizes who you are, it can tell you what you should be looking at and opportunities to buy products and services that you would normally purchase inside that retail environment. So most people would assume that when you are doing a beacons program, you would need to use a coupon, some sort of dollar off or whatnot. But the fact is, when we're starting to see people are engaging with their phones, their devices, if they like your product, if they like your story, if they like the new product you're introducing, you don't necessarily need to give them a coupon in order for them to buy your product. And so that's one of the things why A/B testing is so important. You want to be constantly looking at what's working. You know, sometimes you might need a coupon to get someone over the hump, but for the most part, if you're telling the right story and you're engaging with your audience and you're making them aware about what you're trying to do or the higher purpose of your company, oftentimes that's enough to get them to make an initial purchase. If they love your product, they'll buy it again.